All right. When I was a child, this was one of my favorite candy bars. But what am I looking at here? I am double checking. Okay, good. So this is one of my favorite bars. This is the Twix. Twix is one of the famous candy bars here in the United States. So if you're not from the United States, this is a really, really popular one. And basically it is some kind of like a shortbread type of cookie that has a layer of caramel and enrobed in chocolate. And that was one of my favorites. What's going on, everybody? How are you all doing? Welcome to the show. It's the Coffee Q&A, your daily dose of coffee Q&A here on the Ono Coffee channel. How you all doing today? It's Monday, July 1st, the 1st of July. Can you believe it? The days are going by and we're already into the 7th month of the year. Half of the year is already well over. And yeah, what is going on? How's everyone doing? All right, so what are we doing here today? Well, my friend Matt, his daughter Jolene was like, they were at the store. They were at, like, I think at Marshall. Was it Marshall's? Yeah, they were at Marshall's the other day, and she was like, "Oh, look at this. There's a Twix coffee." And she was like, "Get it for Mr. J so he can like put it on this show and he can taste it." So here it is, Twix coffee. And why are we doing this, right? We are here. We are a show about specialty coffee and beautiful coffees in the world. How can you bring this coffee into this palace, you might be asking? Well, you know what? Every once in a while, we have to explore and see what might be the fun things in the world. And this looks like it might be fun. So this was, of course, they picked it up at the local Marshalls, and which is a discount store. So the discounted price from Marshalls is $7 for this bag. It is 10 ounces of coffee, ground coffee. So what does it say here? It says milk chocolate, caramel, cookie bars, naturally and artificially flavored. Now, I'm not sure exactly where the natural flavors of those comes in. Like, I was thinking, how would I make it? Like, if I was to make a Twix coffee, how would I do it? What kind of drink would it be? And, milk chocolate, caramel, and cookie bars. I mean, perhaps I would do it like a Frappuccino type of shake, right? So perhaps chocolate soft serve ice cream or some kind of chocolate ice cream, actual bits of cookie bars, shortbread, maybe get some of those, the Scottish shortbreads, the one in the red box, and caramel sauce. You maybe put that all in a blender with some espresso and blend it all together. And I think that would be a nice way to go about it. But, we're going to give it a try because, well, why not? Why not? So on the back here, we've got our directions. And what does it say? It's all ground coffee. So, in this part of the game, most every coffee that you're going to buy at the stores is ground, because most consumers are not going to be, or don't really want to use a grinder. Plus, this is a flavored coffee. So do I really want to run it through a grinder? Not necessarily, but let's see here. It says use cold filtered water. And then we want to add 2 tablespoons or 10 grams of coffee to 6 fluid ounces or 180 milliliters of water. So they're using a bit less, 10 grams. So for 10 grams, we would use about 5 ounces. So they're using a little bit more of a dilution than we would. We're going to stay with our normal, what do you call it? Our normal blah, blah, blah. This is made by the Whole Coffee Corporation in Long Island City, New York. Who knows how many untold thousands and thousands of pounds they've made of this. But let's get into it and see what it's all about. So how was your guys' weekend? Anything interesting happening? We had my friends, one of my good friends, it was his 50th birthday. Went out, had a big party on Saturday for him. A lot of food, not too much drinking, or at least I didn't do too much drinking. Lots of Tinto Verano. That's the Spanish drink where you have the red wine, kind of like a sangria, but without all the sangria stuff. Red wine and Sprite, essentially. Just mix it up 1-to-1 with some fruit. All right, here it is. This is our, I don't want to put it in our normal container. Well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's pour it in here. So a little bit on the darker side, not terribly dark, but a little bit darker than we would normally roast it. Definitely very, very strong aromatics coming from those. Definitely chocolate, definitely caramel. Maybe even some of that cookie thing. It's definitely very strong, a little bit pungent. It has that very artificial kind of smell to it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to do really simple kind of brewing. Let's get our, what do you call this? This is our scale. All right, here's the scale. We're going to do 24 grams, 10 grams, all right, easy enough, easy enough, easy enough. We're just gonna, nice thing, it comes in a little tie thing, so we can just roll it over and seal it up. Probably give this to the construction crew at the shop today. All right, now we've got our coffee. Let's get our brewing apparatus. We're going to use the V60, the plastic V60 today. And I've got an extra, this is not a V60 filter, this is an origami filter. I'm going to have that here. Mom, good morning to you, man. How are you doing? Pour this in. We're using the Twix coffee today. A little bit on the darker side, as you can see, right? So let me just get the water out here. Water's nice and boiling. Tear out the scale, and then we're going to start the brew. We're going to start the brew right away. We're not going to waste too much time getting right into it. So 17 grams. It's coming through already. Now, as you can see, we're not getting any blooming action. 64 grams. It does say here best by 5/10/2025. So we've already passed 5/10/2024. So it's definitely roasted over a year old now, which kind of follows along with our trend lately here at the show. Older coffees, seeing how they hold up, which is probably why it's at the Marshalls. Now, it is flowing fairly rapidly through. We're at 129 grams. We've only reached, we're not even to a full minute yet, 55 seconds. Just doing our same type of brewing or pouring method. We just want to keep the water or the grounds fully saturated during the pour. I have to say it's a pungent and kind of very artificial smell that's coming off it, but I kind of think it's pleasant. I don't know. Or at least a little bit fun, right? A little bit enticing. 230 grams, minute 40. So I think we're going to go a little bit fast today. I don't know if you guys have seen The Bear, the TV show The Bear. It just came out last Wednesday. I finally got to watch it last night. Binged through the first 5 episodes, half of the season. Probably end up watching the rest of the season tonight. 2 minutes, 23 seconds, 300 grams. So we're definitely on the faster side of brewing. Now we can't, of course, because this is pre-ground coffee, I can't control the grind in subsequent pours. So we could, I mean, the thing you could try with something like this is maybe going to, what do you call it, more quantity to try to balance it out that way. All right, 350 grams. There we go, 351. I'll let that finish out. We're at 305 right now. So we're not too far ahead, but a little bit fast. All right. So 322, not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. There it is, our brew. We're just going to take that. It definitely has that artificial, industrial kind of aroma. Now we're going to get our elixir and see how that turned out. So as you can see, like compared to our other brews, you know, we're always using the same ratio, same quantity of coffee to water. And as you can see, this is definitely a darker roasted coffee because we just don't get the translucency that we're getting from some of the other coffees we've had. It's much darker. And you can see that definitely here in the brew. Definitely kind of an artificial caramel nose. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, 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 $7 coffee. Yeah, it's really quite $7. Wow. Bitter, harsh, dark. Ooh, Whole Coffee Corporate, White Coffee, White Coffee, White Coffee Corporation, Long Island City. Oh, you know, white coffee. Huh. You're not doing any favors. But I remember white coffee when I was younger, about 1996 it was. I was hanging out at the cigar shop here in Baltimore after I moved back to Baltimore from Hawaii. And the owner there would bring coffee. He had a whole coffee set up, white coffee from White Coffee Company. And I thought the white coffee was pretty good. I used to get the hazelnut coffee, 16-ounce hazelnut coffee, 6 packets of sugar, and a lot of cream. I was not a coffee fan. Oh, Craig's with us. Happy Canada Day to you, eh? Oh, Canada. What do you guys do for Canada Day? Actually, one of my good friends, he's actually from Baltimore, grew up here, lived in New York for many years, and then finally about 10, 12 years ago, he moved to Canada, emigrated to Canada, became a Canadian citizen, and man, he had the craziest outfit on today. He was wearing a white t-shirt with the Canadian flag, bright red sport coat, and what was the pants? I think it was maple leaf pants. I was like, dude, that is epic, epic. Braxton's with us. What's going on, Braxton? Drink maple syrup. We should probably drink maple syrup. Would probably be helpful. But this is as a black coffee. Wow, that's just harsh, harsh, harsh. It's harsh. It's harsh. It's harsh. Not pleasant. None of the real Twixy flavors are coming out. But let us do a couple tests. So I bought Twix, right? I bought a bar of Twix, which are kind of expensive. Like I got this at the convenience store, which isn't maybe convenient, but it's certainly not cheap. It was like $3 or something like that. So, oh, it looks like it got a little bit of crushed. I had it in the refrigerator for the last couple of days, so it shouldn't be. Oh, what happened here? Look at that. All right, so if you're just joining us from outside the United States and you're not familiar with Twix, this is the Twix. This is what it looks like in real life. There it is. All right, so like shortbread type of cookie, caramel, and robed in milk chocolate. Oh, fireworks today. Awesome. Awesome. We will have fireworks here on the 3rd. All right, so will it pair? All right, the sweetness from the bar. You know, helps to soften the harshness of the coffee. You know, so like the problem is that you want this Twix experience, but you don't want the calories. Well, now if you eat the stick with the stick with it, here it is, says nutrition facts 250 calories. So this is greater than a can of Coca-Cola, which is about 130 calories. So you don't really want to go that route. Although, because I opened this package in the name of science, I will have to finish it at some point. Let's try one more bite. So here in the United States, in 3 days, when it comes to July 4th, the big thing, of course, is hot dogs and fireworks. What's the food of Canada on Canada Day? All right, that's kind of horrific. All right, let's try another. We're going to try another thing. We're going to take this, add more coffee. Wow. Now, this is the kind of thing that most people it's for Americans, right? Most Americans are going to add sugar. So we're going to get some granulated sugar. This is Domino's granulated pure cane sugar. I'm going to add 1 demi-tasse spoon. And do I have a spoon here to stir it? Where's my bar spoon? Okay, bar spoon. Will this help the flavor experience of this darkly roasted bitter coffee? A little bit. Maybe we need another demi-tasse spoon. See if that will do anything. Yeah, but now it's getting sweet, and I don't know. How about cream? Like I did bring some milk, so let's add some of that to see how that might affect it. Maybe that'll make it better. Of course, this is how most people will be drinking it. Milky sweet coffee. Better, but still very that dark bitterness is just like it's still there. You just can't get rid of that. And I used to drink coffee that was sweeter than this when I first started drinking coffee. And that's really when I started drinking coffee, about 1996, when I was hanging out at that cigar shop called Rolling Road Tobacco Warehouse. The owner, Jim, would have a setup from White Coffee Company in Long Island City. And they would have the hazelnut coffee. They had a whole bunch. They had like 6 different coffees a day. But I always drank the hazelnut because, you know what? I was just kind of a charlatan back then. Craig says, same food as the States. I'll probably have Domino's. Oh, nice. Nice. Domino's is always fun. And man, I used to drink that 16-ounce coffee that had so much more sugar than this. But that's really the way that I started to find coffee to be somewhat palatable. And then it wasn't until 2002 when I decided to get into the coffee business that things started to change. Like I didn't grow up drinking coffee. Like my father drank Taster's Choice instant coffee, and I tried it. And then, of course, my foster grandparents, they drank a lot of coffee, also Taster's Choice. Or maybe it was Maxwell House. I don't remember, but Maxwell House maybe. But all of it was just bitter and disgusting to me. Like I hated it. I just didn't like it. Even coffee ice cream, when I tried it, just disgusting. Like it's bitter. Like the bitter. I'm not a bitter person, right? Like bitter melon, ampalaya, man, I don't even like it. IPAs, the bitters, don't like any of that, right? I prefer not the bitters. So it wasn't until I got into coffee myself that it became, what we're going to pursue, that I had to learn how to drink coffee and learn. And, I guess maybe I got in at the right time because there was a whole new world of coffee to discover. This is really, even with the cream and sugar, it's not good. It's not good. Michael, good morning to you. How are you? How are things down in Houston? But let's see, let's double up our sugar with a bite of our Twix and our sweet and milky Twix coffee. No, still not a good pairing. Well, that's kind of awful, actually. Braxton says, I'm taking one for the team. Thank you, Braxton. I'm glad someone realizes this. Someone must do it. But I mean, if you were a person that likes bitter flavored coffees, this might be up your alley. And at $7 for a 10-ounce bag at Marshall's, maybe it's a good deal. But oh my gosh, it's how would we phrase this? If I was to phrase this, someone was to ask me, what do you think about the coffee? It was definitely it was a flavor experience. That's what I would say, the flavor experience. We want to try to find a good way to represent our experience without necessarily bashing on everyone. Like, I don't need to bash on it, but if you watch the video, then you'll be like, oh, it was bitter and brutal and rough. The sugar and milk did not help terribly. The sugar and milk did not necessarily enhance the flavor experience. That's better. And Michael says, when Maxwell House was still roasting in Houston, we could smell the coffee when they roasted at night or at the wintertime. Oh, nice. And then Michael says, would love to see your take on tiramisu. Well, if I find this tiramisu coffee, I will try it. We'll try. We'll try anything on the show. Why not? There's no hate for coffee here. We just might not find it to our wheelhouse, right? And that's the thing. Like, it's something that's maybe not to your wheelhouse or to my wheelhouse, but perhaps it is to someone else's wheelhouse, right? Like with Spro, I would say that Spro in Baltimore was arguably the hardest core of coffee shops in the city. Well, at one point, it was the only real coffee shop in the city. So, of course, it was probably the most hardcore. I think the new place will be somewhat more hardcore in some respect, but not very hardcore in others. But even when we're very hardcore, I think it's like, a lot of guys in the business, they were like, this is a temple. Therefore, we will not sully this temple with milk and sugar. I never had that feeling. Like, I know people love to have cream and sugar. And I love to have cream and sugar in coffee. Like, if I go to certain places, I'm going to have cream and sugar. Like, if I go to the diner, like, let's say go to like the local one, Ashland Cafe, in September when it comes time for National Pancake Day and you get free stack of pancakes at IHOP, I'm going to go to IHOP, get the 3 stack, and then order a regular stack of pancakes. So I have this epic stack of pancakes with lots of butter and maples and whatever that they have that passes for maple syrup. And I'm going to order coffee. But I'm going to use cream and sugar in that coffee because that coffee needs the cream and sugar. And I think that's all right. And so for me, it was always like, if you're this kind of person, the guest that wants to have cream and sugar, that you must have cream and sugar, who am I to tell you not to? Like, you're paying me nice money to buy coffee, right? At the time, it was $3 for like a brewed coffee. If you want to put cream and sugar on it, by all means, like, we give you cream and sugar. Now, we didn't have a condiment station like most coffee shops because condiment stations to me are like ugly, they're messy, they're dirty, nobody takes care of them, they're kind of an afterthought, and like, it takes more labor to keep them clean. So we had a little station right by the register where we kept the sugars. Do we keep the sugars there? I think we kept the sugars there. And we didn't have the cream out because we wouldn't use those thermal things for the cream. We just give you this, right? If you wanted cream, here's the cream. And we kept it in the fridge. That way it was always cold, always fresh, always like, controlled in temperature. We didn't want it to go spoiling throughout the day. And Braxton says, I used to live in Carson City, Nevada. They roasted Starbucks there. You could smell it right as well. Oh, excellent. You could smell the... But I think that, it's all right to have cream and sugar. And so we would let people put as much cream and sugar and we let them put as much as they want. Oh, no, we didn't. We actually would put the sugar for them because it was all about service, right? So we had the little sugar thing here and they were like, could I get cream and sugar? Yeah. How many sugars would you like? And maybe this was the test, right? Like if you were just by yourself at the condiment station, like you could put 15 sugars if you wanted. But there was also this embarrassment factor, I think, that kind of was in play. Like if you said to me or anyone of our staff, and you're like, "Can I get 8 sugars?" Sure, no problem. Like not even skip a beat, no problem. Do, 8. But I think people got embarrassed. They were like, can I just get 2 scoops? Sure. Do you want more? Okay. How many more would you like? 2 more? All right. And then we stir for them and we would add it for them, right? We'd add it for them and stir because you know what? Here's the thing. Why do we do it that way? Because number one, it's messy. Number two, but more importantly, really, my thought is that when you come to Spro in Hamden, I wanted you to be concerned with consuming and enjoying your beverage. We want you to be concerned with the enjoyment of your drink, not the preparation of your drink. We'll prepare it for however you want. You just need to enjoy it. So, like I said, if you wanted 8 sugars, no problem. You wanted 2 ounces of milk? Sure, no problem. Here you go. We'll fill. But you got this cup, and there's only this much room because we're ratioing because 12-ounce cup, we're filling it all, most of the way because we're brewing, especially there, we're brewing it to order, right? So everything's made to order. But I'm all about that. You want to have it your way. But to the Maxwell House and the Starbucks. So we have a Starbucks roastery in York, Pennsylvania, which is about 40 minutes from where I live. So it's not terribly far, but of course, the supply chains are such that the coffee that's roasted there doesn't get to the stores for about 6 months. However, one day we had this in with somebody whose mother worked at the York plant, and we were able to get a cupping with Starbucks coffee freshly roasted like the day before. Like they got it out. They got it from the roastery, drove it down, and then we had a cupping the next day. It was actually not bad. It was not bad. Not the greatest coffee, but not bad. Not bad. And speaking of that Maxwell House place, I don't know if it was Maxwell House per se, but maybe prior to the pandemic, one of the auction houses was auctioning off equipment from a big roastery in Houston. And I mean like a big roastery. Like I remember they had the L12 Probat for sale on the auction. And they were like, yeah, you have to come down and get it out of the lab. And I was like, oh, it really is. And I was like, oh yeah. That was when I really kind of underscored like the L12 and things like that are like what they call lab roasters, small batch roasters. For people like myself, these are production roasters. These are the main roasters we'll use, 12, 15, 22, maybe 70, 80, 100, 150, 300 at the most. But, these are guys that are like doing 1,500 kg roasters, and above. They're doing centrifugal roasters that are roasting in these big pits. They look like the big brewery vats, right? Or they're using the augered style roasters where they're putting green in on one end and it's being augered through the tube and it comes out roasted on the other. And it's continual roasting. It's like it's not like batch roasting. It's continuous roasting. And it's like, wow. I was just super fascinated. I was like, I want to go down to the auction just to go see the facility because it just sounds so interesting. And I think that might have been the Nestle one in Houston because it was in Houston. So yeah. All right. So this is our coffee. A flavor experience with Twix that features notes of dark chocolate, burnt caramel, toasted shortbread with actually a fairly medium plus body, a little bit heavy on the toastiness. The bitter and an enhanced bitter experience. So there it is. The Twix coffee made by White Coffee Company in Long Island City, New York. If you get it at your local, your local, there's a vendor. If you want a local vendor, there's actually I got a link down below. If you're really interested, they've got a link down in the description from Amazon. So if you want to buy it, I don't recall what the price is, but yeah, there it is. There it is. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for today. Don't really have any much for you. I got to go meet the contractors again today and pick up some materials for them. So got to run, but hopefully you have a great day out there. Back again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. with more coffee Q&A. Are we going to have any schedule interruptions this week? I don't think we're going to have any scheduling, even though the 4th is a holiday. I think we'll still do the live stream on the 4th, and then I will head to my cousin's for the big 4th of July barbecue, where we're going to celebrate 4th of July, American independence. We'll even celebrate a little bit for Canada Day. What is Canada Day for? Canada Day is for what? Canada's independence from the United Kingdom? Is that correct? Or is it some other? I'm not really clear on that. And the American perspective is a little bit different because, like, you guys, Canada is still part of the Commonwealth, right? Commonwealth country. So you still have some loyalty to the king. Like, America, we're all about, like, no, we have no loyalty to the king. So I'm just kind of curious, like, was it an independence from the United Kingdom or something else? Or just the founding of the country? Mom, good to see you. I'm eating more Twix. I should not be eating more Twix. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. Let me know tomorrow. Have a wonderful day out there, and see you next time. First step to not being a colony. Got ya. Well, enjoy your day out there, Craig, and happy Canada Day.